Hey, welcome to or back to BarbieCoProductions. And today I have these two dolls that I want to customize and hopefully make them look like twins. I had thought about the idea of making twin characters for a while now, and I've had these dolls for a while, but I only recently noticed that some of their facial features look a little bit similar, and I thought for these two, maybe they could be twins. This doll has surprisingly soft hair for what I think is a budget doll, but the first step I'm gonna do, as always, is remove their heads using boiling hot water. I put both of them in this plastic bag, and I'm just gonna let them heat up. Once that's done, I remove both of the heads from their original bodies. And as much as I do like this hairstyle that they did on this can, I am wanting to try something just a little bit different, so time to cut it off. This was quite a satisfying process. And once it gets to as short as I can cut it with scissors, I go in using a flat-headed screwdriver to scrape out the rest of the hair plugs. I hadn't tried this method before, and I usually do it a bit differently, but it ended up working really well, which I was happy about. And with all of the hair plugs removed, he is now ready to be rerooted. I got this hair on Etsy quite a while ago, and I've been waiting for the right project to use it on. And I think this might be it. I'm starting by just taking out separate pieces. And then I've got my rerooting tool. And I'm starting around his hairline. I haven't rerooted a doll with this type of hair before, so I'm interested in seeing how this goes. And I'm just rooting this hair in at every couple of plugs. I'm not sure what style I want to give this character more permanently, but for now I thought this would work well. I added a lot more hair plugs, but I've not gone into the middle as of yet. I ended up just tying it out of the way for now. As usual for these repaints, I'm starting by going in with some 100% acetone to take off the factory paint. And once I'm done with that, I just have a cloth with some water on it that I'm using to wipe off any extra acetone. And the next thing I'm doing is going in with some gloss Mod Podge to give her a closed mouth look. While that's drying, I'm going in with a Sharpie pen to just re-outline her eyes. But now it's time to go in with the paint. I'm starting with the whites of the eyes. And cleaning it up around the edges. And here's what it looks like once I've done it on both eyes. Now I'm going to repeat the same sort of process for this can. And here's where they're at so far. Next, I'm going to mix up an eye color. For this, I'm using some brown paint and then some black paint, as well as a bit of lighter brown paint, and I'm mixing them together. Before carefully adding it to their eyes. I like using a toothpick for this part just because it feels a bit more steady. Then I'm just adding a little bit of a lighter color to both of their eyes. Next I'm going in with some black paint to re-add the pupils. And lastly, a tiny bit of white paint for the eye shines. Next is lip color. This part is always the trial and error process. Then I'm carefully applying that with a brush. And once that's dry, I'm adding a second coat. And adding a few more details, just building up the different colors. And once all of that's dry, I seal it in with a coat of matte Mod Podge. With the Mod Podge dry, I go in with my rerooting needle and carefully add some rooted eyelashes. I find this step really finishes off the eyes. Once I've got all those plugs in, I go through and trim them back. And then using my smaller rerooting needle, I add a few more plugs in between those main ones. I find doing those two steps really makes them more full and in the end just gives a better look. Now for this guy, I did end up going through and giving him a haircut, but I'm just going to go through and do the same process of adding a few more details with the acrylic paint. And then lastly, a coat of matte Mod Podge to seal everything in. And here they both are once all of that is dry. Now I think they need made to move bodies, so that they have all of the articulation. I ended up adding a bandana to this Ken's head just to keep his hair down, but I ended up quite liking the look, so I'm gonna make that part of the outfit. He also has the new buff Ken made to move hands, which I do like for when characters are carrying things, but in general I do prefer the original hand mold, so I'm gonna swap his hands with my look style. And here they both are together. As for outfits, I went through and made some clothes. For him I made these jorts and this cream shirt. And for her I made a new pair of jeans and this tan colored top. I also recently got this Barbie jacket, or Ken doll jacket, and I love it. I think it is so well made, and I think it'll go well with this outfit. Here is the outfit all put together, and I'm gonna add these little white shoes. I like how they go with the jeans and the rest of the outfit. Here's what the jorts look like on this Ken, and here it is with the shirt. I just added a few stitches in the front to keep it closed. And to finish the outfit, I'm gonna add these low white sneakers. I like all these pieces together, and I like the shoes with the rest of the outfit. Here they are together, but one last thing that I do want to do is pierce her ears. I'm also not sure if this is just because she was what I think is from the budget doll line, but she does not have indented ears. These are the earrings that I picked out for her. There's some pretty simple gold hoops, and I think they go well with the rest of the outfit. Here's what they look like in. And here is what the finished outfits and characters are looking like together. I'm pretty happy with how they came out, and I think they will be good characters for my stories. But let me know in the comments, do you think they look like twins? But that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, or check out my community tab where I post regular behind the scenes pictures and updates. Bye! Just as a quick disclaimer, my videos are intended for a 13+ audience and are not made for kids. As an adult who collects dolls, I use customization methods and sharp tools that are not suitable for children.